Chris, what is our third main topic today?
This one's going to come from Erica K. Hey, John and team. Okay, I just watched the first episode of Ms. Marvel, and it was a great change of pace from the other MCU content we usually get. Iman Vellani is going to be America's next huge sweetheart. How can you not love her? I mean, love her! The humor, the charm, and the characters all got me right away. I'm not really familiar with the comics, so I'm not sure how true it is to the source material, but I don't care. I thought it was great. What did you guys think?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Erica. And yeah, last night, usually Tuesday nights are pretty late night for around the Campea House, because usually that's when Disney drops their premium shows, whether it's a Mandalorian and a Marvel show, whatever. So of course, Obi-Wan was coming out. Stayed up to watch Obi-Wan. We'll talk about Obi-Wan in a bit. But they dropped 2 new shows last night. So I had to watch Obi-Wan, and then I watched Ms. Marvel. Now, I've liked what I said. I thought the trailer for Ms. Marvel was very charming. We talked the other day that Ms. Marvel has the highest critic rating of any Marvel property ever. Wow. In its opening thing. I think it was at like 98% or something like that. Now, it made me enthusiastic for sure. But a lot of the things I heard made me think, you know what, this is probably going to be really good, but probably not completely for me, whatever. But it looked like it had a lot of charm. So I sat down and I watched Ms. Marvel yesterday. And I will say this. This is the first great thing that a Marvel Disney Plus show has done since WandaVision. I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it wasn't great. I liked Loki, but it wasn't great. I liked Moon Knight, but it wasn't great. I didn't like Hawkeye. So when I started watching this show, Ms. Marvel, last night, and again, we're going to do an open spoiler discussion at 7 p.m. Los Angeles time. That's 10 p.m. on the East Coast later, so make sure you come back and join us for the open spoiler, but we're not going to spoil things here. But when I sat down and started watching this, within 2 minutes, I was completely hooked. The visual stylings of it, some visual storytelling tropes that they did. And it's the best way I know how to describe it. And I said this on Twitter earlier today. Ms. Marvel is if John Hughes directed My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Yep. That's what this show is. And I mean that in every conceivable positive way. I fell in love with her. I fell in love with her mother. I fell in love with her dad.
Oh, her dad.
I ended up loving her brother. The whole thing, I mean, it's predicated around this. There's an event. There's something called Avengers Con. Avengers Con, which I also thought was fantastic. The way they use visuals and all these sorts of things to tell the story. You know, I remember after watching Turning Red, which is about, you know, an Asian family growing up in Canada. You watch Turning Red and you realize we all have the same story, whether you come from this culture, that culture, whatever. They're just slight variations on it. We all have that mother. We all have those problems in high school. And as I'm watching this, it clearly leans heavily into the cultural distinctiveness of her family. But at the same time, you're like, and yet that's my mom. And yet that's my siblings. And yet that's my high school. And there's something beautiful about the human experience on that level as you can transcend from culture to culture, but you realize there are these core things that make us all absolutely the same. But it was funny. It was endearing. God, I love this character. I love this character. And it feels so good because how long ago was WandaVision now? A year and a half ago?
I believe so, yeah.
For the first time in a year and a half, I can say that Marvel on Disney Plus has put out something truly great. This is great. Now, granted, it's one episode, right? I thought the first episode of Obi-Wan was fantastic, but it's the first episode. This thing could fall off a cliff in upcoming episodes. Absolutely, it could. But it just feels like I don't see how this thing is going to lose its ground. It just feels like it's just got its solid footing in fantastic, endearing characters that we all instantly attach to. There's just a great scene where her big brother comes into her room to kind of have her back on something. And I'm watching that. I'm just like, I love this character.
Yeah.
Like, I love this relationship. I love this dynamic. And there's a scene in the episode, I'm not going to say what happens, but where Kamala her parents tried to do something really nice for her that was completely horrifying to her, but I'm watching that and I'm sitting beside Dan. I'm like, my heart is breaking. My heart is breaking right now watching a stupid like Marvel Disney Plus show. I honestly cannot get over how good this show is. It's totally different pace. I mean, the person who wrote in the email is absolutely right. It's a totally different pace from other things. I have not seen Marvel do anything like this before. I adored it. And you guys probably have seen the headlines going all over the place. I won't say what it is, but make sure you watch the post-credit scene because there is a direct tie-in to one of the Marvel movies in the post-credit scene. So just make sure you find, it's hard to watch. It's hard to find. I mean, you got to fast forward through the credits because there's like 5 minutes of credits, but it's a short post-credit scene. So if you're not careful, you'll skip right over it. This show's great. Watch Miss Marvel. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Storyblocks. Guys, I have been an enthusiastic fan and user of Storyblocks for years. I go to them whenever I'm in need of content creation assets like royalty-free music, video clips, or templates for my creative projects, ranging anywhere from little editorial videos to my very own full-feature documentary. Storyblocks helps you bring your stories, videos, and projects to life without sacrifices due to time, budget, or access to resources. They have over 1 million different story assets ranging from stock videos, audio and music, an in-browser video editor, and they feature pre-designed templates, animations, and outros. Storyblocks uses an affordable subscription model, and their unlimited access plans offers, well, unlimited video and audio downloads rather than a costly pay-per-clip model. With Storyblocks, you'll be able to create more content and, more importantly, better content, all while using a subscription plan that fits your budget, utilizing unlimited downloads of demand-driven and diverse content. So if you're interested in upping your content creation game, head over to www.storyblocks.com/Campea and get started today. That's www.storyblocks.com/Campea. Anyway, Aaron, you had a chance to watch Ms. Marvel. I think you watched it this morning.
I watched it at 6 o'clock this morning.
What did you think about it?
I had to wake up extra early. You know what? I agree. I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, this looks really cute. But ultimately, what I loved about it was that it was so, it was everyone's story. You know, everyone knows what it's like to, to have those kind of parents, to have something that you want to go to, whether it's a rock concert or a party with your friends. And I actually loved how AvengerCon was so similar. If you've ever been to CinemaCon and you've been down on the trade floor, I mean, it really brought back so many memories of times of going to the trade floor of Comic-Con that maybe, oh, go back. But where would I stay? There's no hotels. They're all booked. So if you ever been to Comic-Con, let me know. But it was, I really thought that was fun. I thought that the commitment to it was fantastic. I mean, I actually want to go back just to see them on the trade floor at AvengerCon, to go back through and pause to see all the little Easter eggs that are in there. I love the relationship that she has with her best friend, and that's all that I will say about who that person is. But I thought that was such a beautiful, heartfelt connection where you see that, you know, they really have this great, I've got your back, I'm here for you. The way that they play with each other, even when the camera is zooming back, you see it from afar.
Yeah.
You see that connection that they have. I didn't love her mom, and maybe it was because it was a little too triggering for me. Growing up in a military household, it was a little bit like, oh God, I'm feeling some flashbacks, but yeah, that moment with her parents was so heartbreaking, because I feel like also the first time that you don't make your parents angry, but you actually hurt their feelings, that's when you go, oh, wow, mom and dad are people. I didn't realize that. So that's really heartbreaking. And also, he only had one scene, but I love Mr. Wilson. And that is
we saw him in the trailer. He was in one of the trailers.
That is a character who could easily be so over the top. I mean, on paper, you go, okay, well, that's just like this over the top character that could be so, unbelievable. But the actor played it so grounded and honest that you go, I believe that you are a guidance counselor or a vice principal or just a teacher. I believe that you exist in the world in 2022. And I think that what I also love about this will be my last point, is I like the fact that we are establishing who she is. It wasn't just like
what she does.
Right, because so many of the Marvel shows that we've seen, coming out of the MCU, they've all been like jumping straight to the action. And while, yes, I love the action, I Give me a great fight scene. I want to see people soaring through the air. I love an origin story and someone discovering that and learning how to harness their powers, and to be able to see a superhero that doesn't know that they're a superhero and also doesn't know what to do with that superhero power, and then getting to go, oh, wow, we get to go on this journey with you. That is exciting. So I'm looking forward to actually going on the journey and seeing how someone who went from idolizing
Captain Marvel.
Thank you. Idolizing Captain Marvel to then realizing her own Marvel powers. That is just going to be such an exciting ride, and I'm ready for the rest of the season.
So stinking cute. Look at her. Oh, she must be protected at all costs.
Chris, what did you think of the episode?
I loved everything about this. And everyone here knows that I'm an old ass lady. I go to bed at 9:30 at night. So I set an alarm so I can take a little nappy nap and then watch these shows. And I'm usually miserable. I'm so angry about it. I had so much fun, and I wanted to rewatch this the minute it ended. I watched Obi-Wan in the morning. I was like, this is the show I want to keep watching. It is so great. The editing, the way it is shot, the stylistic choices they make for text messages. I mean, it is beautiful. It is so, so fun. The characters are wonderful. Iman is incredible. She is so, so wonderful. Seraphin nailed the casting from start to finish here. Every person in the show is lovely. And like you guys were saying too, you connect to this on a very real level as yourself. For me, the parents are swapped, right? I had a goofy mom who went with me to Comic-Con, which was great. Like when I was like, that's Stan Lee, she was like, hey, Stan! I was like, Mom! But then I got to go talk to him because my mom is a loud Bostonian. And I was like, yes. I had to beg my parents to let me go see Weezer the first time with my friends. It was the first concert I got to see by myself.
Wow.
And you would think I was asking them if I could go do buckets of cocaine, right? Because I had, very, very uptight Northeastern Catholic parents. And so all the idea of why are you going to a party on a school night? You're only 16, it all makes sense to me. And you can relate to that on such a cellular level, no matter how you were brought up.
I trust you. I just don't trust other
Other
people.
people.
That is something
Total parent
my
thing
dad
to say.
still says that to me. Like,
Tom says that to me every day.
Tom, reverse it, Tom. But I love too that the writer, the person who wrote in here too, said they weren't so sure if this was comic book accurate. Like Aaron was saying, there's glorious Easter eggs every which way, things that are taken directly from the pages, right?
Right.
Down to people's costuming, down to certain stuffed animals and things. It's really, really great. But the changes they make are so intriguing that even if you are familiar with this, like I really want to sit down and talk to Anne about it. The changes they're making to her origin are fascinating, and I can't wait to see what the other episodes bring.
But for those of you who don't know, my wife, Anne, she was the first person I ever knew who read Ms. Marvel. She loves this comic, right? And so she was not going to stay up with me to watch it that late at night. She's got a real job, right? But this morning, she had a break as I'm getting ready to leave early this morning. So she's like, I'm going to watch Ms. Marvel right now. And I was a little bit late coming into the office today because I just sat there watching Ms. Marvel. For like 10 or 15 minutes. I just watched her watching Ms. Marvel. And the whole time, I got to go home later today and ask her, what did you think about it overall? Because I don't know anybody who knows Ms. Marvel as well as my wife does. But I got to go home and ask her because the whole time she was watching, she was just, she was soaking it in. So guys, listen, everything will hit everybody in a different way. All I can say is for me, who is expecting good things from Ms. Marvel, to me, it's the first great thing Marvel has put on Disney Plus since WandaVision. I don't think they put anything great on Disney Plus since WandaVision. Now they have. I love this show. Questions for you guys. Actually, you know what? Ray, you saw it, which I'm so shocked you were awake to watch it. But what did you think of Ms. Marvel?
Man, I was up till 3 trying to watch these 2 episodes. So,
What, Obi-Wan and this?
You know what I appreciate about it is like I was telling the chat, the introduction to this culture, even if it's exaggerated, it's just like, seeing that part, other people's thing, whatever you call it. I appreciate that, but I also appreciate the interactions within the family.
Yeah, I
it
love
felt
that
like
part.
they were actually a family, and that's something that sometimes doesn't work. Like immediately from the beginning, the way she interacted with the mom, the dad, even the brother, it was like there was especially with her brother and her.
Yeah.
They give you one way and then they give you another way. It's like the way real brother and sisters work out in real life. That part I appreciate. I say the visuals were great. It's just I don't know if the novelty is gonna stick for me. Like after an episode or two, she's great. The girl is perfect, but I just don't know if it's the type of thing that's going to stick with me after a few episodes.
Right.
It might
And we'll
get
find
old
out.
to me.
I would
Yeah,
love
we'll
to
find out.
see. I would love to see the YouTube show that she has. The character has.
Oh, I'm sure they'll put it on Disney Plus.
I would love to see that as like a separate. You know how sometimes like a couple years ago there was like The Office, and then some of those periphery characters had their own like little webisode series. I would love to see an add-on of that character's YouTube show as a totally separate thing.
I would watch it.
I would.
All right, guys, question is for you. Did you guys have a chance to watch Ms. Marvel? If so, what did you think? I'm sure it hit us all in different ways, but I freaking loved it. Whatever you guys thought, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there.